Ms. Schulte is with us for department. Casa is with us. Mr. Pertle is with us. He's representing the child. Mr. Barfield's with us representing the mother, Miss Sarmiento, who is with us. And the father, Mr. White Wolf, is also with us. Miss Austin is with us representing the tribe.
Well, there's two now.
Oh, there's two tribes?
Yes.
Okay, that may have answered one of my questions in reading the reports. One referred to them as Apache tribe of Oklahoma, and one was the Wichita tribe.
Yes, one for each parent. And they've both intervened.
They have both intervened?
Yes.
Okay. I only had Miss Austin. We had her at the last, no, I say we did. I don't know if we did or not. All right. So you're telling me it might be Alicia Wheeler?
Yeah. Is she, Tamara, is she with the Apache tribe?
Ramona Austin is the Apache tribe. Alicia I think, is the new worker for the Wichita tribe.
Okay.
Judge, thank you.
Let's get her in. All right, Miss Wheeler, are you representing the Wichita tribe?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I did not know that there had been a second intervention, so. Okay, I will add you on my notes as another intervenor representing the Wichita tribe. So, okay, that accounts for everyone. So, Miss Schulte, you may go ahead and proceed.
I would call Tamara Ring.
All right.
And did you file a court report in this case?
Yes, I did.
Before we get started, have there been any notable updates since that report was filed?
The only update I would have is that I know Miss Sarmiento will be mentioning this later. She yesterday reported some domestic violence between her and Mr. Whitewolf, but I do not have any proof of that at this time.
Okay. To clarify for the record, we have two tribes that have intervened in this case. Is that correct?
Yes.
The Wichita tribe was the first tribe that intervened. And is that the tribe that Ms. Sarmiento is a member of?
Yes.
And the second tribe is the Apache tribe. And they were noticed and intervened after Mr. White Wolf was established as the biological father, correct?
That is correct.
Does Adelia remain placed with her maternal relatives in Texas?
Yes.
At this time, is she doing well there?
Yes, she is.
And are they meeting all of her physical, mental, emotional needs?
Yes.
Is that at this point considered, to your understanding, a preferential placement because they are a biological relative, even if they are not a tribal member?
Yes.
Okay. You have been in contact with both parents. Have they been having visitation with Adelia?
Miss Sarmiento has not had visitation with Adelia. She's due to very sporadic contact with us and having trouble keeping up with where she's at. Mr. Whitewolf has been having virtual contact with Adelia recently. Those go as best they can with a 2-year-old. And then
sorry, go ahead.
Then he did have an in-person visit with Adelia on I believe it was the 21st. I went and observed part of that visit. It went really well. He engaged with her. He was very patient with her. There was no concerns from that visit.
Is your court report mentioned that there was some difficulty getting her placement to cooperate with virtual visits? Is that still an ongoing issue?
I have not heard anything with there being any issues with the recent virtual visit.
Okay. Does Mr. White Wolf continue to be engaged in services through the county, the drug court program of the county in which he resides?
Yes, he is.
His service plan requests, like a lot of Texas-based services that he hasn't engaged in. Are we crediting what he is doing through the drug court since he is out of state? Are we still requesting that he complete those services?
I've just left it at what he's doing with his drug court, because he is attending individual counseling twice a week. They have him doing a lot. I don't remember if they still have him in group therapy, but he's also doing a 16-week parenting class with them. He does drug screens with them. He's also completed 2 drug screens for me. So a lot of his services appear to be covered through them.
Okay. And according to the court report, the tribe has done a walkthrough of his residence and does not have any concerns, correct?
That is correct.
Ultimately, at this point, are we looking towards placing Adelia with Mr. White Wolf?
Potentially, yes.
Is that going to be based on recommendations from the tribe and based on completion of his program?
Yes.
Do we know how long he has before he's completed his program?
I do not know. I know he's in, I believe it's phase 2, because like I said, he just started that 16-week parenting class.
And have you maintained communication with both of the tribal representatives?
Yes.
Are they both at this point supportive of looking at potentially eventually moving Adelia to placement with her father?
I do not know about the Wichita tribe. I have not directly spoken to them about that. I've sent them, I've kept them updated on Ms. Sarmiento, and I've sent them my court reports, but I haven't directly discussed Adelia going with Devin.
Okay. Has Ms. Sarmiento engaged in any services?
Not at this time, no.
Did she go complete a drug screen for us?
She went 2 weeks after I had requested her to go.
And was that drug screen positive for marijuana?
Yes, it was.
Do you know the status of any of her pending criminal, specifically out of Duff Smith County?
No, I do not. The last I heard on her charges there, she had ran from the Bells bondsman, and I do not know if she's taken care of any of that yet.
Was she the one who directly provided you this information regarding domestic violence between her and Mr. White Wolf?
Yes, she brought it up yesterday to me over the phone after I had mentioned the possibility of Adelia being placed with Devin.
Have you spoken to Ms. Sarmiento previously in this case?
Yes, I've had contact with her a couple of times.
And this is something that she's never mentioned before.
That's correct.
Is there anything else at this point that you feel the court needs to know about Adelia or either of her parents' progress and services?
No.
Are you asking that the court continue her current placement and continue the department as temporary managing conservator?
Yes.
I'll pass the witness.
Right, thank you. Ms. Ring, first of all, would it be a continuing danger to the child to be returned to either parent today?
I believe so in regards to mom.
Well, this goes to both. These are questions I have to ask because
Yes.
would it be contrary to the child's welfare to be returned to either parent today?
Yes.
Okay. And then I noticed that Mr. White Wolf had a positive drug test in August for marijuana, and then at the time of your report, we had a pending test for November. Have you gotten the results of that test?
His November test was negative.
Okay. All right. And then just so I'm trying to keep up here, Mr. White Wolf, is he a member of the Wichita tribe or the Apache tribe of Oklahoma?
He's a member of the Apache tribe.
And then who is the member of the Wichita tribe?
Sarmiento.
Okay. All right. That's what I needed. Thank you. Okay, Mr. Barfield, questions?
Thank you, Judge. Tamara, from reading the report and everything, it would appear that my client would would your recommendation be she immediately start working services to try to mitigate the reasons for removal?
Yes.
Okay. And do you've said you've had sporadic contact currently right now. Do you know if you have a good phone number and address for her?
Right now, yes. I spoke with her yesterday, and I also have a courtesy worker set up for her in Killeen, Texas, where she's at.
Okay. All right. And what is your position in regards to any type of video visits with mom with the child at this particular time?
I would like her to start services and maintain contact with us.
Prior to visits?
Yes.
Okay. I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you. Let's see, Mr. White Wolf, if you would unmute, please. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Mr. White Wolf, I don't know if you were adjudicated after our last hearing or not as the father, but so I don't know if I've admonished you, but before I'll ask you here in a minute if you have any questions, but you have the right to an attorney now that you've been established as the father of Adelia. If you can't afford an attorney, you have the right to ask the court to consider whether or not you're entitled to a court-appointed attorney at no cost to you. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
Would you like to ask for an attorney today?
I have one here in Oklahoma. I just need to talk to him.
Okay. Well, at any time, if you want to, if you can't afford an attorney, you have the right to
Let
ask.
Tamara know.
You have the right to ask that I consider whether or not you're entitled to one at no cost. If you want to do that, you can get the forms from either someone with St. Francis or from the department, or you can contact my office and we'll get you that form. Okay.
Okay.
All right, sir. Do you have any questions to ask Ms. Ring today?
No, I just need to let her know that I'm in phase 4 with my program.
Okay.
And I got one more phase and I'll be done. I'll be done in August.
Okay. And I noticed that you've been drug testing because you're doing your drug treatment. I'm sorry, through something to do with a criminal case. What was your criminal case? What was the charge?
DUI.
Okay. And did you plead to that or what?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're gonna, if I complete this program, they're gonna dismiss it.
Okay. Was that your only criminal charge?
I have some old criminal charges and it's DUI again.
Okay. But you've taken care of all that, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Okay. Then, Ms. Austin, did you have any questions for Ms. Ring? If you have questions, we'll have to figure out what's wrong with your audio. If you don't, you can just shake your head that you have no questions. Okay. She's saying she has no questions. Okay. Ms. Wheeler, did you have any questions for Ms. Ring?
Only thing our position is I know that they were trying to establish Adelia's enrollment. The only problem that we are having, if maybe Ms. Ring, Devin can provide either Ramona or me with a birth certificate. We're having an issue trying to get this child enrolled. I believe they want to put her in the Apache tribe. So, I mean, that's all we need. If
Okay,
anyone can provide us with that.
You just need Adelia's birth certificate, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Ms. Ring, do you have that or can you get it?
I have requested it through DFPS. I am just waiting for it.
Okay, so if you get that, you'll forward it to Ms. Wheeler, and probably also it might be helpful to get it to Ms. Austin too.
Yes, I'll provide it to both.
Okay.
Okay, thank you so much.
All right, Mr. Pertle, any questions?
No questions, Judge.
All right. Does anybody else have any follow-ups for Ms. Ring? All right, then, Ms. Schulte, did you have any other witnesses today?
Yes, I would call Heaven Sarmiento.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm just going to be real brief here. Have you done anything to take care of the criminal charges that you have pending in Deaf Smith County, or do you know if you still have an active warrant with them?
Well, my mom is working. My mom's getting like the information for that to see if I can get that handled. And then my grandma's working on.
She may need to turn her video back off.
I can't hear
Can you
y'all are
hear
talking
me?
over each other. I can't hear either one of you.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I don't know if she can hear me.
Yes.
Okay. I said I'm working on that right now. Like as of now, I'm working on that.
Do you plan on starting to engage in any services?
Well, Miss Tamira, I'm not saying we don't keep in contact, but it's like with her, she don't communicate. Like she communicates with me, like she let me know these past 2 things that happened. But as far as like me reaching out to her, she doesn't reach out to me. Sometimes she does, sometimes she doesn't. And then my services, yes, I got a message from a lady that is supposed to be my worker here. And she said she was gonna email me my what are they called? My services, but I haven't got no email yet. She said that they were supposed to be let me go to the message. I can't find it. But she was supposed to email me to send me a docket of what I was supposed to do.
You understand from speaking to Ms. Ring that at this point, because you haven't gotten started in anything, we're looking at possibly placing Adalia with her father. What are your concerns about that?
His drinking problems. I know I did a lot of things in the past that I can't really say, he's a bad dad. I'm not trying to keep her away from him or anything. I don't care if he's, in the picture or anything. When I was in Oklahoma, he's seen her before, but it's the drinking. And then when I was with him and I was pregnant with my daughter, he would hit me when I was pregnant with my daughter. That's my only problem is the drinking and the hitting, which of course I don't know if he's still doing that. His girlfriend said he wasn't, so I don't know.
Ma'am, you just answer the question you're asked.
The drinking and hitting. That's it.
You've answered that, so let's move on, Ms. Schulte.
I'm sorry.
Were the police ever called during any of these incidents?
The police came one time, but I had went inside my house whenever he left, and then I didn't open the door for them.
Was that in Oklahoma?
Yeah, that was in Oklahoma.
Do you know if it was city or county police that came out?
City.
And you said you never talked to them to make a report?
No, I didn't talk to them, but yeah, I didn't talk to them.
Okay. If he is engaged in services right now to address the alcohol problem, does that seem like he's working on addressing some of that?
I mean, he took services for an alcohol problem before. So I don't.
Okay.
I can't really speak for him.
I'll pass the witness.
All right. Ms. Sarmiento, you said your mother or your grandmother's working on that, but do you have outstanding warrants right now?
I don't think I was going to call today and find out. I don't think so. I don't know.
Okay, you don't know. That's a good enough answer.
I don't know.
Okay. All right, Mr. Barfield, questions?
Yes, Your Honor. Ma'am, currently you heard the testimony that Ms. Ring has your current phone number and your current address. And
yes.
Okay, and you know how to contact her, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Also, you are not living in Deaf Smith County at this time, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What criminal charges are currently pending that you're aware of in Deaf Smith?
Theft it's theft, it's a misdemeanor, and then the other one was the CPS.
Okay. Do you have an attorney representing you on those charges?
I have one. I was just needing to call him. I was going to call him today.
Okay. Would you call him today so that you can get me information as to the status of your criminal cases?
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand that your criminal cases could potentially affect the outcome in this case?
Yes, that's what I spoke to my dad about.
Okay. If you do have warrants, then you do understand you need to get those taken care of as well.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, in regards to your service plan, do you have a copy of your service plan?
Well, I had got a first service plan. I don't know. I think it was Tamira who sent it to me. I don't recall, but she was giving me a bunch of numbers. They sent me one from like the first time, but now this new lady, she hasn't emailed me I guess the new one.
Well, let me simplify the question. You do understand that whether it's on the old service plan or any new service plan, I don't know that the service plan has changed. you absolutely need to start working those services to mitigate the reasons for the removal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
And do you understand that your failure to do so could not only result in your child not being placed in your care, but your parental rights could be jeopardized if you don't start making some progress in this case? Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
You also understand if you have problems contacting somebody, get a hold of my office and we can fix that situation real quick and assist you.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Are you going to do that?
Yes, sir.
Are you currently employed?
That's what I'm working on right now.
Okay.
But I
you
do have a
transfer?
pending job they're just waiting for me to come and do the my drug test, my drug screen for them. It's at a nursing home in Temple.
Okay. Well, when do you have to take that drug test?
It was supposed to be next week on Tuesday.
Okay. Well, all right. Do you currently are you using marijuana currently?
Well, I stopped. Like after I took my drug screen, I stopped and I had told Miss Tamira, I said, hopefully in the next drug screen I'm clean. So
Very good. Okay. Well, all right, Your Honor. And so do you understand the importance of all these things we've talked about today?
yes, sir.
Okay. I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. And Ms. Sarmiento, Mr. Barfield covered this, but you've not been at the last couple of hearings, so I have to admonish you of what he said, but I need to tell you also. These services that you've been asked to work, they're a court order right now. This court has ordered that you do those services. So at a final hearing, if you have not worked those services, your parental rights could be altered or you could be terminated. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I just had to get that in because that's part of my job.
I have a question.
Well,
Is there
go ahead.
I'm sorry. Is there a way, like, because with Miss Tamira having my number, I don't really get like the court dates and stuff like that.
Okay, ma'am, let me stop you. At the conclusion of this hearing, I'm going to put you and Miss Ring and your attorney, Mr. Barfield, in a breakout room, and y'all can get all of this sorted out while you're not having good contact between each other. So
Okay.
you'll be able to do that at the conclusion. Mr. Barfield, you can drop off if you don't want to, but since she does have some criminal problems, I thought you might want to be in there.
I do.
Okay, all right. Okay, then, Mr. White Wolf, if you'd unmute.
Yeah.
All right, did you have any questions for Ms. Sarmiento?
No.
All right. Ms. Austin, did you have any questions? She's saying no. Ms. Wheeler, any questions?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Pertle, questions?
No questions.
Okay. All right, then. Ms. Schulte, did you have any other witnesses?
Judge, just briefly, I'd call Mr. White Wolf.
Okay, let's try to make it brief. I've got another hearing that I'm past due for already.
How much longer do you believe you have in your drug court program?
I'll be done in August
Okay.
in 2024.
Do you have things that you need in your home for Adelia?
Yes, I do. And then I told Ramona too, I've actually put in for my own place. It's a 3-bedroom, so she'll have her own room. If I do get her, she'll have her own room. And Ramona, the only thing that was out of date was like a fire extinguisher. So Ramona provided that, and she provided me with a smoke detector.
Okay. That's all I had.
All right. Mr. Barfield, questions?
No questions.
Ms. Austin? Questions? She's saying no. Ms. Wheeler, any questions?
No, sir.
All right. Thank you. Mr. Pertle, questions?
No questions.
All right. Then Ms. Schulte, any other witnesses?
No, Judge.
Okay. Mr. Barfield, any witnesses?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Austin, witnesses? She's saying no. Ms. Wheeler, any witnesses?
No, sir.
All right. Mr. Pertle, any witnesses?
No witnesses, just a recommendation, Judge.
Okay. All right. Then, Mr. Pertle, your recommendation?
Your Honor, I believe the child's in a safe and stable environment, and I recommend the child stay where the child's at now. And that's my recommendation.
Okay. Thank you. And Ms. Castillo, Casa, have anything to add?
Yes, I did help facilitate 2 of the first virtual calls with Devin and Adalia. And the first one, she was a little timid, to stay on the screen, but the second one went very good. So I do see the engagement with the both of them doing better. And then I do recommend Adalia stays at current placement. Just that's what's the best interest for her at this point.
Okay, all right, thank you. Okay, then based on what I've heard today, I will continue the department as temporary managing conservator, and I will continue Adalia's current placement. We'll have our next hearing in this case on January 31st, 2024. That will be by Zoom like today's hearing, so all parties and attorneys can go on the court's online docket a day or two in advance of January 31 to see what time we'll have that hearing. Okay, again, Mr. Whitewolf, just remember, if you want to ask for a court-appointed attorney, contact my office, the department, or St. Francis, and they'll get you your paperwork.
All right.
Okay, we'll stand in recess on this case. For those of you involved, I'll be back here real quickly to call a motion to participate. Okay, it is past 9:30. Sorry for the delay. Our first case ran longer than I thought it would. So we're here on a motion to participate. Ms. Schulte is with us for the department. Ms. Grant is with us representing the children. Mr. Adams is with us representing the mother, Ms. Morales, who I believe is with us. And then Ms. Kincaid represents the father, Christopher Morales, who is with us. I may be pronouncing your name wrong. I apologize if I did. So
Based on, and I need parents, attorneys to, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is a voluntary program and it looks like they've met and created a service plan. So I believe that we have an agreement for participation in the TFF program as requested.
okay, then Mr. Adams, is your client in agreement with the service plan and willing to work the TFF case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, Ms. Kincaid, is your client willing to work the services in the plan and participate in the TFF case?
He is, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Grant, are you in agreement that that's what should happen?
I am, Your Honor.
Okay. Okay, then I will then approve your agreement today. I will order both the parents to work the services as contained in the service plan that's been mentioned and participate and cooperate with the TFF program, the Texas Family First program. Okay, well, that's puts me back on schedule. So thank you all for working that out. So
Sorry, Judge.
Go ahead on a permanency.
I was going to say,
hearing.
I knew this was going to be
Mr.
brief.
Albee is with us for the department. Costa is with us. Ms. Kincaid is with us representing the child. Mr. Michelson is with us representing the mother, Ms. Heffley, who is with us. Ms. Grant is with us representing the father to two of the children, Mr. Lujan. I don't see him with us. Ms. Grant, were you expecting your client?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Pertle's with us representing the alleged father to Axton, who is incarcerated, I show. And then Mr. Pertle also represents an unknown father if Mr. Van Cleve was not established as Axton's biological
Thank
father.
you, Your Honor. I would call Ms. Tyndall. And where are they currently placed?
They're currently placed with their maternal grandmother.
And what town or county?
Stratford, Texas.
And is that placement meeting all of their needs at this time?
Yes, it is.
Are there any special issues or special needs that we need to make the court aware of today?
No.
Miss Kimberly Heffley is the children's mother.
Yes, sir.
And she was ordered to work services through a service plan. Has she complied with the services you have asked her to work?
She has complied with almost all of her services. We are waiting on one, and she has that scheduled for December 7th.
My notes reflect that she was still needing to complete either a second OSAR or the original OSAR. Has she completed that OSAR?
That is what she has scheduled for December 7th.
And is that a second OSAR?
That will be her first OSAR.
Okay. And part of the reason for the removal of the children from her was because of substance abuse addictions?
Yes, sir.
And so it's important for us to get a handle on what type of addiction she has and what services she needs to help her with that addiction.
Yes.
So the OSAR is important.
Very important, yes.
And has she complied with random drug screens?
She has started complying with them again. We struggled for a couple of months due to work and being sick. In November, she did complete a drug screen that was negative. The two before that were ones she missed.
And when was the last time that she did a hair follicle drug screen?
I believe it would have been in August. So we are due for another one.
today, are you requesting that Miss Heffley be ordered to hair follicle drug screen then?
Yes,
Is she exercising visitation with her children?
she absolutely is.
How much visitation does she get currently?
She has 2 hours weekly with her children.
And is that supervised by either someone from the department, from St. Francis Ministries, or by her?
It is
parent?
supervised by somebody from St. Francis.
And how are those visits going?
Those visits are going very well.
Graceland's father is, and Graceland and Stetson's father, I think, is Mr. Cress Lujan. Is that correct?
Yes.
And he was also ordered to work services.
Yes, he was.
Has he complied with any services at this time?
He has completed one of his services back in August. It was the rational behavior therapy. He went to, I believe, 2 parenting classes, but that is all he has complied with.
Is he remaining in contact with you?
He is not.
When was the last time you had contact with him?
I talked with him, I believe, in September.
So it's been a couple months anyway.
Yes.
Do you know where he's living, what he's doing?
Last it was reported to me, he was still living with his parents or on one of their properties. I believe he is still working with his stepfather, but I can't confirm any of that with him.
The oldest child, Axton's father, is Peyton Van Cleve.
Yes.
Mr. Van Cleve, the last we knew, was incarcerated in Oklahoma.
Yes.
Is he still incarcerated?
Yes, he is incarcerated in the Canadian County Jail. I have sent a letter asking him to contact me and have not heard from him as of yet.
Do you know what he's incarcerated for?
I do not. They were not able to tell me. They said he was there on a hold and that he would be there for a while was all I was able to get.
So would you agree with me that he is not working services?
Yes, I would agree with that.
Based upon the things that you've talked with me about all 3 parents, would you agree with me that it would be contrary to the general welfare of these children to be returned to any parent at this time? At
this time, yes.
And that it would be unsafe to do so?
Yes, I agree with that.
Are you asking then that the court continue the department as temporary managing conservator? We leave placement where it's at, and we continue to work with these parents to try to get their everything satisfied so that they can have the children returned to them?
Yes, I agree with that.
I'll pass witness, Sherman.
All right, thank you. Ms. Tyndall, in the report I read that Ms. Heffley had done a psychosocial with recommendations. 2 questions. Are there any recommendations out of that psychosocial that aren't already court ordered?
I do not believe so. Reading over that, I did not see any that we haven't covered.
Okay, so whatever the recommendations were, she's done everything except we're only missing the OSAR, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so if there's any additional services recommended out of the OSAR, she'll need to complete those 2. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, and I also noticed from your report that Mr. Lujan has tested twice for methamphetamine and he has no-showed on at least 3 occasions. Do you want me to order drug tests for him today also?
Yes, I would like that.
Okay, all right, thank you. Okay, Mr. Michelson, questions?
Thank you, Your Honor. Just for clarification, the last drug test was UA and it was negative in November?
For Kimberly?
For Kimberly.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, and the 2 prior ones, October and September, she missed?
Yes, those were the ones she missed due to work and being sick.
Okay. And the hair follicle test you indicated occurred in August. Was that negative or positive?
They both were negative. We did a UA and a hair follicle, but that was also when she had admitted to relapse.
Okay. And when was your last visit with Kimberly?
It was the beginning of November, I believe around the 6th. I couldn't tell you the exact date, but it was the beginning of November.
And how did that visit go?
That visit went very well. She actually went with me to go do the drug screen that day. So it would have been the first because I took her with me. So she went with me. We tried to do the drug screen. They were closed. She went back right afterwards and completed that drug screen when they were open. But that visit went really well.
Okay. And she's completed counseling services?
She has completed counseling services.
Okay. Pass the witness, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Grant.
Ma'am, as to Cress Lujan, the other services he's completed,
are compliance with drug screens up into losing contact in August, correct?
Yes, he was compliant with those up until August.
And then he completed a 30-day rehab program during this case, correct?
At the very beginning, I believe he did.
And he has provided employment and pay stub verification, correct?
Yes.
And so all of those items are part of his service plan, would you agree?
Yes.
Would you agree with me that at the point that you lost contact in August with Mr. Lujan, that is the same time you began having issues with the mom being responsive to drug testing?
She tests, I mean, I can't say because we don't have those actual tests for those 2 months, so I can't say that it was positive or anything like that she was using. But they both did admit to using and testing positive at the same time.
And that was the August 24th testing, ma'am?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know if the parents are still in contact?
Kimberly reports to me that she has no contact with Chris, that anytime he reaches out, she ignores it. And
has she,
last time I talked to him, reported the same, that he has not contacted her.
And has either parent told you the last time that they reached out or had contact?
Kimberly had mentioned that Chris had tried to add her as a friend on Facebook. She did not give me a time for that. But that was the last time he had attempted to contact her.
And did she provide you that Facebook profile name?
She did not.
Okay. If you received that information, could you share it with me so that I might try to locate Mr. Lujan through that method?
Absolutely.
Pass the witness, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, Mr. Pertle.
No questions.
Ms. Kincaid?
Thank you, Your Honor. The children are up to date on all their medical and dental. Is that correct?
Yes, we are waiting on Graceland to get into the dentist for her 6-month review. They go December 21st, I believe. And so that's when all 3 children should have their review with the dental.
Okay. And the permanency plan for the children is still reunification. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And visitation is going well with mom?
Yes, it is going very well.
Okay. And is that still supervised visitation?
Yes.
Okay. I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Tyndall, have you had any conversations with Mr. Van Cleve?
I have not. He has not contacted me.
And from my notes, it shows he's an alleged father to Axton, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. He's not admitted, as far as you know, has he admitted to anyone that he is the father, or has he signed an acknowledgement of paternity?
As far as I know, he is not admitted, and I don't think we have an acknowledgement of paternity signed by him.
Okay. Do you think maybe we should, since we know where he's at, do you think we should go ahead and order paternity testing while we know where he's at?
Yes, I think that would be great.
Okay, thank you. Okay, does anybody else have further questions for Ms. Tyndall?
No, Your Honor.
All right, then, Mr. Alvey, do you have any other witnesses?
No, Your Honor, I rest.
Okay. Mr. Michelson, any witnesses?
No witnesses, Your Honor. We rest.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Grant?
No witnesses, Your Honor.
Okay.
Other than we do have a question that the next order in this case, I believe, will be the final, and I would like to see if possibly mediation could be effective in this matter.
Okay. All right, I'm always up for mediation, so. Okay, then, Mr. Pertle, did you have any witnesses?
I have no witnesses, Judge, but I don't know how I'm going to participate in mediation with my client being incarcerated, and then if he's not the father, then having the unknown father.
Well, I mean, you can participate in it. You may not be able to have your client there, but you can always, if Mr. Van Cleve, assuming we get the paternity test on him, I don't know how Oklahoma feels about doing paternity tests on inmates. So,
okay. All right, Judge.
Okay. All right, then, Ms. Kincaid, did you have any witnesses?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Ms. Kincaid, recommendations?
Continue the department as temporary managing conservator, continue current placement.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Ledbetter, Casa, have anything to add?
We're in agreement with that. We would just add, if you would order for both parents to UA and hair follicle drug screen.
Okay. All right, then. Okay, then I will continue the department as temporary managing conservator, continue all the children's current placement. I'll order Ms. Heffley and Mr. Lujan to both hair strand and UA drug screen by 4 p.m. today. I will order paternity testing for Peyton Van Cleve as to Axton, and I will order this case to mediation. As always, that will either be at the Dispute Resolution Center in Amarillo, or if the attorneys want to have a lawyer mediate the case, then you'll need to get with the referring judge and be sure that they approve to pay for a lawyer mediator. So, Okay, then, I will set the final for February 21st, 2024. That will be by Zoom like today's hearing, so parties and attorneys can go on the court's online docket later in order to participate. We'll have that hearing. We have Mr. Albee with us for the department. Mr. Turner is with us representing the children. Mr. Michelson is with us representing the mother, Ms. Kinney, who is with us. Mr. Adams is with us representing the father, Mr. Kinney, who is with us. I have Rissy Walker, Denise Gambrell, and John Doris in the waiting room.
Thank you, Your Honor. I would call Miss Denise Gambrell. And they are still currently placed with their father, is that right?
That's correct.
And he was ordered to work services, and the father's name is Zach Kinney.
That's correct.
And he was ordered to work services. Is he working the services that he was ordered to work?
Yes, sir.
Has he completed all of those services at this time?
Not all of them.
Which ones has he not completed at this time?
He's still working on his parenting classes. He has about 5 classes to go. So about 5 more weeks.
And are the children still in good care with him?
In good care?
Are they safe?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mom is Angel Kinney.
Yes, sir.
She was also ordered to work services. Has she begun working the services she was ordered to work?
She has begun. Yes, sir.
Does she still lack services, or has she completed all of those services?
No, she still lacks services.
What services does she lack?
She's still attending counseling.
Are you asking then that the court continue the order that makes the parents work these services?
Yes, sir.
And that would allow us to continue to provide those services for the parents?
Yes, sir.
Pass the witness, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Ms. Gambrell, in the report I read, it said that Mr. Kinney had done a psychological with recommendations. Were there any recommendations out of that I need to court order?
No, sir. I shared his recommendations with the counselor, and they pretty much touched base on what we're doing.
Okay. And did Miss Kinney, has she done a psychological or a psychosocial?
She did complete her psychological evaluation. I still have not received the report from the psychological evaluation team. I'm still waiting on that.
Okay, so if there's anything out of that needs to be made a court order, just let Mr. Albee know, and I'll be happy to sign that. Okay,
Thank
then.
you.
Mr. Michelson, any questions?
Yes, Your Honor. Miss Kinney has completed her counseling at Stonebridge.
No, that was her psychological evaluation with
Her
Stonebridge.
psychological. Okay. And
yes.
I was a little confused between Stonebridge and Grand. Were they
Grand
the
Mental Health
services or different services?
No, Grand Mental Health is offering counseling to Miss Kinney.
Okay. All right. And she's participating in those services?
Yes.
Okay. And do you know what the communication is like between Miss Kinney and Mr. Kinney?
I believe they are having phone communication. I believe the protective order was lifted from Miss Kinney, by Miss Kinney, and they are having phone communications. To my knowledge, they are attempting to co-parent via telephone.
Okay. Pass the witness.
All right, thank you, Mr. Adams.
Thank you, Your Honor. Do you have a date when the kids were placed with the father?
They've been with the father since the beginning of the case. They were placed with the father since the investigations. I don't have an exact date, but they were already placed with him when I began my services, which was July 17th.
Okay. And when they were first placed with him, they were under supervised placement. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And that was the requirement for supervision was taken off shortly after that. Is that correct?
Yes. After he began his services, the department lifted that supervision.
So he is taking care of the kids without supervision for several months now. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And do you have any problems with his progress?
I don't have any problems with his progress. He does have a few setbacks here and there, keeping up with the cleanliness of the home, sometimes the physical appearance of the children. It has been reported by the school that they've been unclean a couple times. I have been able to address those issues with Mr. Kenny, and it seems like it improves.
Okay. No further questions, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Turner.
Ms. Kimbrell, you kind of addressed this just now with Mr. Adams, but from your report, there has been a little bit of regression from time to time as to the kids' hygiene and the home. And as you said, you've addressed that with Mr. Kenny.
Yes, sir.
And has he been responsive when you've addressed that and kind of changed what he was doing, or has there been an improvement in those things when you brought those things to his attention?
There has been improvements, but Mr. Kenny has a lot of support from his family. His family has helped a lot when it comes to making sure the home is staying clean and things like that. He also has a good babysitter that has taken up a lot of responsibility when it comes, he takes them to her before school. So she's getting them dressed and making sure they're going to school clean.
And I think in your report, you mentioned that a change in babysitter kind of, there was a change in the kids' appearance and hygiene and stuff during a change in the babysitter. Was that correct?
Yes.
Okay. But anyway, those things have been addressed and there's been improvement there.
Yes, sir.
No further questions, John.
All right. Ms. Gambrell, I read in your report that Mason had shown some aggressive signs towards the other children. Is that being addressed? Is he in any kind of counseling or anything?
Well, he is not in counseling. He has seen a behavioral, it's Dr. Wong. She's a child development specialist. They are getting him tested for ADHD at this time to see if medication is what he needs. They don't have a follow-up appointment until January 9th, I believe. So
okay.
That's what our steps are when it comes to that.
Okay, so it sounds to me like it is being addressed. So okay,
yes, absolutely.
Okay, does anybody else have further questions for Ms. Gambrell?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Albee, do you have any other witnesses?
I do not. Rest.
All right, thank you. Mr. Michelson, any witnesses?
No witnesses, Your Honor.
Mr. Adams?
No witnesses, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Turner?
No witnesses.
All right, Mr. Turner, recommendations?
Your Honor, I'd recommend that the order be maintained and that the parents continue to work services as recommended or ordered by the department and the court.
Okay. All right, then. Mr. Albee, do you want another compliance hearing?
I think we do need one, Your Honor. 60 days would be sufficient.
All right. I've got January 26th or February 16th.
Let's do February 16th. If we can get it dismissed before that, I will.
Okay, sure. I'll be happy to sign a dismissal order if everything works out. So, okay, then I will order the parents to continue working the services as previously ordered. I'll set the next compliance hearing for February 16th, 2024. That will be by Zoom like today's hearing, so parties and attorneys can go on the court's online docket a day or two. Mr. Albee is with us for the department. We'll have that hearing. Ms. Talley is with us for CASA. Mr. Adams is with us representing John, the child, and John is with us also. So, as you just announced, Mr. Adams, I'll go ahead. I'll set up the breakout room so that Ms. Talley, you, myself, and John can visit. And for everyone else, we'll be back then and we'll have the hearing. So I'll order that. I'll set up that breakout room now. You may be asked to join or it may put you in there. We're here. Okay. Okay. I don't know. Have I called the case, Amy?
You have.
All right. So everyone's present except for Miss Hardy. I don't see her. And let me be sure. No, she's not with us. So, okay. I've got quite a few people in the waiting room. I've got Tasia McIntyre. Is she your worker, Mr. Alley?
She is.
Nothing but the truth.
I do.
Okay, thank you. For the record, we had a breakout room where I visited with John along with his attorney, Mr. Adams, and we had CASA in there. Miss Talley was with us for CASA, so we visited, and he's chosen to stay in and just watch this hearing. He just wants to kind of see how things go. So, Mr. Alley?
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. McIntyre, you're a St. Francis Ministries Permanency Specialist.
Sir. Yes, sir.
You have just recently become the worker in this case.
Yes, sir.
The prior worker was Miss Summer Daniels.
That is correct.
Have you had an opportunity to review her file and get up to date on the status of John?
I'm currently working on that, but for the most part, yes, sir.
All right. First of all, where is John currently located?
He is located in Lubbock, Texas.
In what type of facility?
In the QRTP in Lubbock, Texas.
And is that placement, as far as you know, meeting all of his needs at this time?
They are attempting at their best ability.
Now, John has some behaviors or has exhibited some behaviors that make it difficult for placement at times.
Almost every day, yes, sir.
And so we agree with me that it would be in his best interest to remain in some type of placement for the time being.
Yes.
His mother is Miss Kendra Harvey.
That's correct.
And have you had contact with Miss Harvey?
I actually had a face-to-face yesterday morning with her.
And was she aware of today's hearing?
She was.
Did she advise you that she didn't think she would appear?
No, ma'am, or no, sir. I did let her know that John asked to participate, so he would be here as well. But she did not go into that.
She was ordered to work some services. Is she continuing to cooperate with the department and with St. Francis Ministries and do what she needs to do to be able to have John eventually return to her?
Absolutely.
The concern in this case is that she has other children in the home.
That's correct.
And because of John's past behaviors, there's some concern that if you return home, that the other children may be in danger.
That's correct.
And so would you agree with me that today it would be contrary to the general welfare of John to return him to his mom?
That is correct.
And it would be unsafe to do so.
Very much so.
Are you asking then the department be continued as temporary managing conservator and that we continue placement where he's at until we find a better placement?
That's correct.
Thank you, Ms. McIntyre. I'll pass this.
All right, thank you. Ms. McIntyre, I understand that John's therapist has taken another job and he's between therapists. Were you aware of that?
So I was told she has taken another job, but she's staying on part-time and coming and working with these children still because she built rapport with them.
Okay, good. That's good to hear. So he will not go without a therapist. Is that correct?
Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
That's the wrong therapist. My therapist is Sonia Glasgow, and she's recently just quit the job and got a new job.
Okay.
Miss Jessica ain't my therapist.
Okay. I got that confused. I apologize. Sonia Glasgow is his current therapist. Yesterday was her last day, did the final stuff. We are working on that. So he won't be between therapists very long. She did her exit deal with him yesterday, and we're actively because he does need a therapist. So I apologize for that confusion.
No, that's right. I just want to be sure that we're on it because he obviously needs to be back in therapy immediately. So, okay,
yes,
that clears that up. Thank you. Okay, then, Mr. Adams, any questions?
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. McIntyre, you did talk to Ms. Glasgow, the therapist. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And did you talk to her about some of the behavior issues and the runaway issues that have happened over the last couple of months?
Yes, multiple times.
And when you talked to her, was it her opinion that where he's at in that QRTP is probably the best place for him, even though there are those behavior issues?
She did have a recommendation that if there was ever an opportunity of a lockdown facility, it would better keep him safe and everybody else safe around him right now while these behaviors are heightened. So she did have that recommendation in there as well.
Oh, okay. But he is getting quite a bit of help where he's at. Is that correct?
He is when he's at placement, when he's not running and things like that. We just need him to stay put so we can help him.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes.
No further questions, John.
Okay. Anyone else have further questions for Ms. McIntyre? All right, then, Mr. Albee, did you have any other witnesses?
I do not, Your Honor. Arrest.
All right. Mr. Adams, any witnesses?
No witnesses, Your Honor.
All right. Then, Mr. Adams, any recommendations?
Just that he stay in the placement that he's in and that the department remain temporary managing conservator.
Okay. All right, then. And Ms. Tally, anything to add for CASA?
Nothing to add, Your Honor.
Okay. Okay, then I will continue the Department as temporary managing conservator, continue John's current placement. I'll set the final in this case for January 17th, 2024. That will be by Zoom like today's hearing, so parties and attorneys can go on the court's online docket to see exactly what time that hearing will take place. And I've told John he's welcome to attend any of these hearings he wants to, and just to let someone know so that we can arrange that. And John, just so you'll know, and everyone else I probably knows, but this case is set for a final, but it can be extended if we think you need some more help. So it might go to trial on January 17th, or we might extend it to let you get some additional help. So I just wanted to explain that to you. So,
Yeah.
okay. All right, then that will conclude this hearing. With us for the department. I'll be back shortly. Ms. Talley's with us for CASA. Mr. Michelson is with us representing the children. Ms. Lucero is with us representing the father, Mr. Persley, who is with us. And Mr. Ray is with us representing the mother, Ms. Persley, who is with us. I have Kinsey Chu and Oscar Ortega in the waiting rooms.
They would both be witnesses if we have a contested hearing, Your Honor, but I believe that I'm going to be able to announce an agreement today.
Okay. Do you need any kind of breakout rooms, Mr. Albee, or?
No, I've talked with Ms. Lucero through emails and with Mr. Ray through telephone conversations, and I believe based upon those email conversations and that telephone conversation that both parents are in agreement that the department would be named temporary managing conservator of the children today, that they will agree to work services as defined by the St. Francis Ministries in a service plan that would be outlined in 60 days. And they would get the typical visitation under these circumstances.
All right. And whoever can tell me, are the children all placed together? And if so, where and what type of placement?
Kelsey, I'm going to rely on you to tell me that.
The children are placed together in a kinship home. I believe it's Tricia Sanchez is the relative.
What, you know what relative she is?
It's my understanding that Lindsay has children with her husband, and so it would be like a fictive kin.
Okay.
Placement. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And city or county?
They are in Hemp Hill, and they're in Canadian.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yes.
All right, then, Mr. Ray, you've heard the agreement or the announcement from Mr. Albee. Is your client in agreement with this?
We are in agreement with this, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right. And Ms. Lucero, you've heard the agreement. Is your client in agreement?
Your Honor, I guess I must have missed an email coming back from Mr. Albee. If I could just have like a 2-minute breakout room with the attorneys, I'd appreciate it.
Okay, sure.
I apologize, Your Honor. Maybe I jumped the gun. Judge, we're back.
Sure. All right. Let's sure click the right buttons coming back.
It looks like we're all back. Where are we?
Judge, we still have that same basic agreement. However, we would like to add that the parties, each parent would get at least 4 hours a week visitation with the children, as supervised by either St. Francis Ministries and or the Sanchez's. We haven't had time to really establish a visitation pattern here, but I don't think that there's any harm with the children visiting the parents as long as they're sober, and all of the visitation would be based upon sobriety of the parents.
Okay. All right, then, Ms. Lucero, with that announcement, is that your client's agreement?
That is my client's agreement, Your Honor. And in addition, we discussed that they'll work on trying to set up some kind of maybe holiday visit with the kids. One of the visits will be around the holidays. It may not be actually on the 25th. It just depends on the Sanchez's schedule.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Mr. Ray, with those changes, is that still your client's agreement?
Still our agreement, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. Ms. Callier, is CASA in agreement?
Sorry. CASA is in agreement with visitation. We weren't in on that breakout room. So, but if it's just allowing the parents to have visitation, then we're in agreement. Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Mr. Michelson, you've heard the agreement. Are you in agreement?
I'm in agreement with the terms and the visitation schedule.
Okay. All right, then. I will approve your agreement. I will continue the department as temporary managing conservator, continue the children's current placements, And I will order that each parent to have at least 4 hours weekly supervised visitation with the children. I have no problem with those being around the holidays. If we can work them in, I'm sure the kids would enjoy that. So, all right, then. I appreciate y'all working that out. That will conclude this hearing for those of you involved. Mr. Turner's with us representing the children. Ms. Lucero's with us representing the mother, Ms. Coe. I don't know. I see Rex Coe. I don't know if they're together.
Your Honor, I don't know if they're together either. I didn't have Ms. Coe's contact information till Wednesday, and I did send her an email, but I have not had a chance to speak with her.
All right, and Ms. Grant is covering for Mr. Pertle, representing the father, Rex Coe, who's with us. Mr. Coe, if you'd unmute, is Natasha Coe with you?
Yes.
Okay, all right. And do y'all have video?
He's trying to work on it.
Okay, all right. Where do we stand?
Your Honor, I'd like to have a quick breakout room with Ms. Coe, if possible.
Sure.
I don't know if I know that they're there together. Maybe I can just speak with her. I don't, I didn't want to overstep because I know Mr. Coe is there present, but I don't think that would necessarily be an issue. So,
well, let me just ask Ms. Grant. Do you want to go in, or Ms. Lucero? Do you want to go in with both lawyers, with both parents?
yeah, that's fine with me.
Ms. Grant.
Yes, Judge.
Okay, I'll open the breakout room for the two parents and their lawyers.
Todd, Mr. Coe is still in agreement. I just need to put a couple of items on the record regarding his needs so that the caseworker is aware going forward.
Thank you.
Okay, it looks like everybody's back. So where are we?
Judge,
Your
go ahead, Lorraine.
Okay, I did speak with Ms. Coe, and she is in agreement for the services that are being recommended, and so we were going to announce an agreement on that. And then I believe Ms. Grant has some additional items for Mr. Coe.
All right, so let's just somebody tell me what the overall agreement is.
Yes, Your Honor. This is a TFF case, and so the parties are going to agree that the children will remain in the home. There's been an FBS assessment. The FBS workers will begin working with the parents. The parents will agree to work the services as set forth in the assessment. That's been provided to the parties, and they all are in agreement in working those services.
Okay, and that's set out in the what assessment? The
FBS assessment, Your Honor. There's a family plan of service that was filed this morning or late last night.
Okay. All right. First of all, Ms. Lucero, is this your client's agreement?
Yes, Your Honor. It's our understanding that she'll be required to participate or complete counseling, parenting classes, and some type of organizational skills class or program.
Okay. All right, then, Ms. Grant, is this your client's agreement?
It is, Your Honor, and I just wanted to notify the court and the caseworkers that these parents do not have any transportation at this time. And so they are requesting that parenting classes be allowed to be done remotely or virtually, if that's able, and any of the other services. Obviously, this is a case that's going to have a lot of in-home services, Your Honor, because of the reason we're here. Additionally, Mr. Coe, Your Honor, recently had a stroke, and he is recovering from that. However, his doctor has deemed him physically able to work, but possibly not mentally able to work at this point. So, okay. Sorry, Your Honor, my internet seems to have glitched, even though I've tried everything to upgrade it. Is that better?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, my apologies. So, he is requesting that if the caseworkers can help him, put him in touch with any resources that could get him a ride to Amarillo to make an appointment at that SSI office. I think that would be very beneficial for this family to get him signed up on that and get some income coming in. He's not working right now, and that's a big factor in his ability to provide.
Okay.
And so I've let him know that just to contact his caseworker for referral to resources there and maybe a ride. And he mentioned that he wanted me to ask that CPS had indicated they were going to provide an exterminator to go to the home and see if that was planned.
Yeah, we can make sure that works, sure.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, then. So then, Mr. Turner, are you in agreement with the announcement?
I am, Your Honor, and we discussed in the breakout room with the attorneys. These children are familiar to CASA, and I know this is a FBS case, but would recommend that maybe CASA be involved, go ahead and be added as a party and be involved in the case to kind of check on the children regularly, etc.
Okay.
We don't have any objections to that.
Okay. All right. Give me just a second here. Okay, then I will approve that agreement. I will order the parents to work the services as set out in the FBSS assessment. I will, it's kind of unusual, but I believe it's warranted. I will order that St. Francis or the department transport Mr. Coe to his SSI appointments in Amarillo. And I will order that CASA be appointed if they have an available advocate. So we'll notify them today to be sure they do or don't have one. So, okay. All right, then. I appreciate y'all working that out. Do we need a compliance hearing?
Please, Your Honor, in 45 days, if we have something along that line.
Okay, I've got January 26th or February 16th.
January 26th would be better, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, then I will set a compliance hearing for January 26, 2024. That will be by Zoom like today's hearing, so parties and attorneys can go on the court's online docket a day or two in advance of January 26th to see exactly what time we'll have that hearing. All right, once again, I appreciate you working that out. This was our last case of the day, so we will stand in recess and everybody have a good weekend.
Thank you, Judge. See you next week.
Okay.